Yeah, so this is going to be part three of my boring series that you're probably not going to watch because you're going to be engulfed by the usual propaganda that mainstream media, including the internet, which they're working on censoring, of course, as much as they possibly can. And I don't really care. Because of, this is like a self diary online, and plus it will be degraded. As YouTube degrades after a while all the videos into nothing eventually. They start out high like 750, this will be 750, and then it'll drop down and drop down, drop down until you won't be able to see it again. Then people complain that it was a good message but you couldn't see it. But anyway, so I've watched America since I was a young child, being raised in a drug dealing family, watch it deteriorate dramatically. And it's because I was raised there. I guess if you're raised somewhere, you feel kind of partial to an area. And just how they've totally frickin' trashed the country by making drugs illegal, which they're working on it. They're getting better. They're legalizing some. And then all the drugs that are legal that are prescribed by the doctors are all the wrong ones that are really bad for you, that don't really help out the people with PTSD that need the good old-fashioned drugs that deal with PTSD the best, because I have PTSD, so I know. And I've tried the other fucking drugs. I've seen like 30 psychiatrists. You should be able to tell that within 30 seconds of my conversation to this camera. You should be able to tell that I've seen probably 30 or more psychiatrists. I mean, that's apparently obvious there. But anyways, the war on drugs is really the war on innocent people. That's all it is. It's terrorism against innocent people, and it's a racket for the people that are dealing the drugs. It's a racket for the jail system. It's a racket for the legal system, because that's their paycheck. They don't want to give up their paycheck. Common sense tells you that, right? I mean, common sense, let's face it. Money is running the planet. And power. And it probably always will be until it self-destructs. It's not freaking aliens from outer space. It's not. I see so many videos that claim, oh, extraterrestrials and aliens and all this crap are running the freaking planet. What do they want to do with this planet that we're polluting and destroying? They want nothing to do with the planet like that. If they wanted anything to do with the planet, they would have taken it a long time ago before we got a hold of it and started messing it up. But I'm getting off topic here, but I guess I am on. So I remember good old America before it just started deteriorating, and then they made drugs more illegal and started enforcing on that. And it's really just the war on the people. That's terrorism of the population, because you have to worry now about getting shot or terrorized and all that stuff everywhere you go, or ripped off or accosted, whereas 30 years ago you didn't have those problems in America as much. And it's just spiraled out of control, and if they legalize it, the people that just couldn't cope with the drugs or whatever would either get into treatment, learn to cope with them, or they would just take themselves out. And the thing I don't really understand that much is, as much as the government wants to control the population, as much as every government wants to control the population by deflecting the blame deliberately by propaganda, you think they would openly welcome the idea, because there's no better brainwashing than brainwashing somebody with drugs. It's an excellent way to control them. So you think the government would like want to do that hands down, you know, and I can tell you that I have years of my life that are blank, and I'll never get them back, and I know why. Because I've had my memory wiped, and it's not. I don't think it's some abduction into a spaceship or anything like that. It's basically just you give somebody enough of drugs, you change their sleep patterns, you alter their thinking in enough of different ways, enough times. See, you're used to having these synapses, so your brain is like a big spaghetti of wires or whatever. It's like a computer, and then there's electrical impulses, and then the synapses and everything, they send the messages and they go straight into this part of your memory here and there and there and there and there. Well, I had different things that influenced me chemically in my brain that kept, you know, the message or the memory going from point A to point B. And so I basically had my memory wiped because of that. But that would be another video. But anyways, regardless of the lost time and everything, which I don't regret, really. I've just seen the country trashed, you know, in every way, shape, and form, from the drugs being illegal. And the media sources have become more and more lying about it and all that. And people are becoming just more isolated by social media. That's another video. But they're becoming more controlled and manipulated by technology, and isolated and victimized. And I guess I've got other videos to do here. Let's see, what else can I talk about without getting into other topics that much. Public parks for free. The educational system was always messed up. I mean, it's really messed up. It's really, really messed up when you got to pay taxes to send your kid to a school to get brainwashed to serve a corporation. They should pay to brainwash your kid to serve their corporation. It shouldn't come out of your pocket. I mean, you already pay enough of taxes as it is. So it's ridiculous. I mean, this whole tax thing is freaking ridiculous. That's another big scam that's gotten out of proportion. There always has been. And you don't know where the tax money goes. And maybe I do. But it's not going where you think. It's going somewhere else. See, there's enough of that tax money that it could pay for you to send your kids to a good school where they would get good quality brainwashing, to a good college where they would get good quality brainwashing, to medical school where they would get good quality brainwashing, in colleges or sciences or arts or whatever, and you shouldn't have to pay a dime if you're paying taxes. There's other countries that pay for all that. And the medical. They get what they pay for. They pay taxes, and then they get the fruits or the benefits of the taxes. Whereas in the States, the taxes go to the corporations and the bankers. That's where it goes. So I guess I contradicted myself, but that's gotten worse. It's all gotten worse. Yeah, it's... I mean, I would never, and I would never want to raise my child in the States. If I could avoid it at all costs, I wouldn't want to do that. Now, maybe 30 years ago, it would be a different story, but now, yeah, it's just gotten so bad that the redeeming qualities are becoming less and less. It's kind of sad to see all that happen. So I'll go back for a while and watch the show. And then probably leave again. Yeah. It's just really sad to become the country controlled by fear, and people don't talk to anymore. They're so socially isolated and all that. And it's really sad. So I've watched, in the time I've been alive, I've just seen the country go down the tubes. Also I remember a time when people actually, in their own lifetime, by time they retired, even a average working citizen, slave, an average working slave could buy a house and pay it off by time it was time to retire. So the only thing they had to pay was property taxes, which are illegal. And that was it. They were free to retire, and they had one less thing hanging over them. And then also, they had medical when they retired, because when you get older, you're apt to have more medical problems. They had medical back then, too, that would take care of the elder generation.